Another place of diocesan support is in Moab. Here, Trust 2 funds are used. The Moab Free Clinic offers clinical care with dignity. Our Trust 2 funds assist those needing services at the clinic, especially when communication is difficult from one language to another.
Well, it's a remarkably important ministry. When we sold the hospital in 1988, we put aside $2 million specifically for the needs of indigent people with medical expenses. And we used the earnings off of that since 1988, all these years, and the corpus, $2 million is still intact.
The Trust 2 grants provide certified medical translations from Spanish to English.
The biggest drawback or problem we've seen with the Hispanic population here is if they don't feel like their language is spoken here, they oftentimes won't come.
And that can be a matter of life or death.
In some cases, absolutely. And especially when it comes to, like, say, some of our ability to provide services to undocumented workers.
Trust 2 has also pledged not only to help translate, but to help hire a Spanish-speaking practitioner to at least work part-time. That would eliminate having to wait for the translator, especially when time is of the essence.
We're looking for about 20 hours, and thanks to the Episcopal Church, we're halfway there. So once we get the rest of the funding, and it's a lot easier to go out and ask for funding when you say, well, these guys chipped in, so that's one of the reasons that grant is so helpful. Just to have that person, because you won't have that moment where someone walks in the door and maybe it's a sensitive medical issue, and even just asking for someone who speaks Spanish and saying, no, but please wait.
Like we saw in St. George, Moab is a resort town with fancy places on Main Street and many people working in the service business struggling.
Every priest or priest in charge or vicar needs to go out in their community and take a look around, because I'll guarantee you there's a lot of need out there and a lot of needs not being fulfilled that need to be fulfilled. And that's church at its best. That's the community at its best.
Our St. Francis Church has responded, along with our San Francisco congregation and the diocese, and Trust 2 is honored to help. It's what we need to do these days in places such as the Multicultural Center, and an incredible program where 60 to 90 kids go to the church parish hall for a safe place after school, and of course, the free clinic.
The Multicultural Center would not exist without the help of the diocese. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Free Health Clinic was struggling along until Bishop Scott came last year, took a look at it and said, this is worthwhile.
And remember, the diocese is you and your congregations and your support and leadership. They are lives being changed. Our cameras were at St. Francis when there was a planning session going on for the after-school program.
Some of these kids, if it wasn't for this program, they would probably be wandering on the street, hanging out maybe with older kids who will not be teaching very good things to them and with very little supervision. So, having this program, it helps the kids to have a safe place and to come and do their homework, do reading and writing, and also benefit from mentoring.
We kind of cloistered ourselves in the past, and we do the Sunday thing, and then maybe an occasional pastoral visitation or something like that, and then call it good. No, I think we've got to engage the community. I think we've got to get out amongst the people, and we've got to show who we are and what we stand for. And I think that's going to be the modern church for me.
Again, it's a ministry for the wider community in a new era.
It has been part of our tradition from the very beginning with Bishop Tuttle, with the founding of St. Mark's Hospital, with the beginning of schools, reaching out to coal miners, providing water and baths for people who needed these simple comforts and needs, basic necessities of life. We have been participating with this from the very beginning of our diocese.
When I see that, that's really heartwarming, and we don't push the religious aspect on them. We're providing space for them. But by doing so, it says something about this church. It says something about this community. It says something about the Episcopal faith, that we're welcoming. Everyone is welcome here, and everybody is equal here.
Trust too is all around us. It's also part of the ministry on the Ute Reservation. Again, our wonderful congregations have ministries, and the diocese as a whole is honored to help. The Art Kids program teaches cultural heritage and also offers a safe place to be a kid and to learn.
Blue and green, purple, red, green.
We are showing some scenes from a past program, as Art Kids will start up again in January. Much of it is about the kids. One of the longest running and most successful programs is in Ogden. Youth Impact started in Good Shepherd. The diocese later bought a wonderful building for the program. Today's church does need to deal with today's kids in today's world. This means they need to be safe. They need to be mentored. They need to know that they matter.
It's a safe place. They can come here, they can be themselves. We're all over the whole bully thing. We see it coming a lot of the times. We address it before it becomes an issue. If it becomes an issue, we're on it twice as hard. Kids are allowed to be themselves. We represent the culture that we're growing up in today. We represent the culture, the environment, the people as individuals that we live in today. And I don't know if you're going to find that everywhere you go.
Yes, a chance to be a kid, and a ministry that's full of responsibility. That is also our modern church.
You know what? It's cliche. It's home away from home. I mean, you think about it. We've got these kids from the time we pick them up from school until by the time they get off the van, 7:30, quarter to 8 at night, pretty much close to bedtime for a lot of the younger ones. We've done their homework with them. We've put them into organized sports, individual sports. We've done our reading together. We've taught some principles on helping keep the establishment clean. It's your place. This is how we do it, that kind of thing.
Changing lives from within the walls of Good Shepherd to today.
That's our history. That's where we spent the first 10 years of our program. And since then, at the Episcopal Diocese level, the state of Utah, they've helped us move forward into who we are today. They have everything to do with the facility that we're in today. The reconstruction alone and making it kid-friendly in this facility was to the tune of $500,000. Up until the last few years, they were the vast majority of our support system financially. Still are today the #1 donor of any entity there is.
One of the big reasons to show these ministries here at our annual gathering is also to serve as an inspiration for all of us, to know that our congregations can find those places of outreach that will make a difference, and to know that there are diocesan resources to help. Rob Hall says remember to grow slowly and to know you will become consumed in the passion.
I think along the way you're going to run into a lot of roadblocks. You're going to run into a lot of bumps, trials, and tribulations. I think if you truly believe in your cause, it's easy to overcome. You just keep going forward. Much different than I'm assigning this to you. You've assigned yourself to it.
Not all Trust To grants are displayed in such a community-wide showing and with the visibility that we've seen. Some are done on a one-to-one basis, quietly, and of course with dignity. Often it's to help one person for medical bills or a prescription.
We have honestly saved lives with that ministry, absolutely. Transplants, medical bills for prescriptions, testing, all kinds of things they couldn't otherwise pay for.
The individual needs might be complicated. The process is not. The Lord's work is to help.
Precisely that, letting people know this ministry is here. We do have funds available to help people they run into in need. Well, we like to have the local parishes do the screening for the test. They know the people, frankly. They know the needs. And now they have the resource to match that with the people's needs. And that's exactly what we'd like to accomplish, have more people be aware of it and get the program out there where it'll help more people.
And throughout it all, it is the mission of our church to reach outward and inward so that we all may grow with Christ. Another ministry is geared to strengthen Christ in our hearts. The Utah Ministry Formation Program is a diocesan program that explores God's work in a comprehensive educational program. It lasts up to 4 years and has led to ordination.
Many of our graduates have already become in charge of congregations in their dioceses, or they are working with a priest in a congregation with an idea that very soon they will be. So they are fully and well prepared. It's just that they're differently prepared from the traditional model. And I think they're proving themselves very well.
It makes it possible to have a rigorous educational experience, to study the Bible and scholarly writings from an academic and disciplined focus.
Any member of our diocese and their friends are welcome to come to classes at the Utah Ministry Formation Program. We've had non-Episcopalians who have enrolled. They are welcome. What they will find in the classroom is people who are seeking ordination, people who are strengthening their lay ministries, people who are discerning their call to ministry and they don't quite know yet where they will devote their time in the church.
Many of the funds are fairly new, but the concepts are from our heritage. Some operated in quiet, some with the joy of kids. And we end with one of the oldest ministries, and perhaps the least known. Almost since the beginning of our time in Utah, we have been prominent as trustees of Mount Olivet Cemetery. In the middle 1800s, non-Mormons needed a cemetery that would take their loved ones in dignity. The U.S. Congress established the peaceful Mount Olivet, and we have had 2 trustees on the board ever since. It's the resting place of 2 of Bishop Tuttle's children, and thousands of others ever since. Another unknown diocesan ministry.
We also have a heart for people that, again, are indigent, although there's not a specific allocation of grave spots to those kinds of things. In the last year, we've had 2 families of refugees that were here in Salt Lake that have had tragedies happen to someone in their family. We arranged for burials at Mount Olivet, one at no charge and one at very reduced charges that the diocese paid for. And it's been that kind of a place for other folks as well.
Yes, it's all the ministries that are quietly done by the diocese, meaning by all of us, and with the hope of God's blessings, ministries that we will carry on in the tradition of those who came before us.